So there I am. I'm walking through the old Home Depot, picking up some garden bags for the impending fall season, and I walk through the tool department as you're required to do, and I see this little Milwaukee stand, and they got these here Milwaukee M12 starter kit, battery charger, 2 amp hour battery, and a 4 amp hour battery for like $120. And you know, that's not a bad deal. It's not a great deal. I mean, it's not the $203 deal that they're advertising. I'm not sure what kind of marketing math they used to come up with that. Maybe if you bought them all individual, but I was like, you know, maybe, you know, and then I started reading, which I hate to do because it gives me a headache. And it turns out that if you buy this $120 Milwaukee starter kit, you get a $120 Milwaukee tool with it. And I chose to get the inflator, the M12 inflator here, and reason being is, well, I mean, one of the tools they were offering was the job site blower, which I already have, a light, which I already have, but that was only worth $70. If I'm going to get the deal, I'm going to get the deal. There's a few other tools that I just don't need, so I picked this guy up. So let's open this up and see what's going on inside the box here. All right, well, there it is out of the box. I'm going to peel that off, don't I? All right. Yeah, I mean, it's got some nice weight to it. I mean, not heavy, but, you know, it kind of feels like it's something. I've seen some of these battery-powered or the cigarette lighter-powered tire inflators, and they just feel like cheap plastic. Battery comes here in the front. It's not too easy to get out, apparently. Jesus, good Lord. Oh, there we go. And yeah, just kind of slaps in like that. Down the bottom, you got some cushy feet. I'm assuming this thing's going to rattle a little bit when it starts chooching. And in the back, you got the hose, which you hook up to your tire. It's the spin-on style, which I like that, so you don't have to sit there with your hand plugged into it while you're waiting for the damn thing to fill. It comes with a couple of adapters, inner tube inflator when the kids want to go swimming, your basic ball inflator, and I'm not 100% sure what this Pesta, what do they call these? Pesta adapter, I guess. I think they use these on bicycles. I don't know. But yeah, that's what that is. And it'll just kind of conveniently sits here on the back. All right, well, we got it out. Let's get a weight on it. With the 4 amp hour battery, just about 4 pounds, is that right? Yeah, 4 pounds. It's 0 too, so yeah, just about 4 pounds with a 4 amp hour battery. 1,808 grams for you non-Americans, everyone else on the planet. So I mean, the basic function of it. Oh, you know, before I get into it, I actually did read the instructions. Not for me, but for you guys, because I don't want to say something stupid. But it does say in the instructions that this has a 10-minute, 50% duty cycle, which basically what that means is you run it for 10 minutes, you got to let it sit for 10 minutes to cool down, which explains I have read some reviews on this thing, and people saying that it overheats, and they probably didn't read the instructions like the rest of us. I'm not judging. I'm just, you know, I just got lucky. So, yeah, so basically you run it for 10 minutes, you let it cool down for 10 minutes, and then you keep going. Hopefully it'll fill a tire within 10 minutes, because that would suck to have to wait 20 minutes to fill a tire up, but we'll test that later. So it's basic with the functions here. You just turn the guy on, and yeah, you adjust your PSI up there, and if you hold it in, it jumps by 5, which is nice, so you don't have to push the button, you know, 35 times to get to 35 PSI. And that's it. You set it. You put the screw inside the old Schrader valve there, and you hit the button. Let's see what it sounds like running. Oh shit! I just turned it off. I'm an asshole. All right, so dial up to 10, and hit that button. No, that was a little loud, but I am indoors. So now getting deep dive into the specs for those of you who care. It's 12 volts, obviously, because it's an M12. It'll do up to 120 psi, and it is claiming 63 would be impressive. 0.63 CFM at 35 psi. So that's actually not that bad, considering the size of it, how much CFM it is. So yeah, that's seems pretty interesting. So why don't I charge up this battery, and I'll go out front, give my old piece of shit Dodge Charger a flat, and we'll see how long it takes to fill it up. All right, to start off, I mean, some of you might have noticed that that's not a charger wheel. In the meantime, we had the remnants of Hurricane Ian park off the coast of New Jersey, and I had rain for about 7 days, and I traded in the Charger for a Toyota Tacoma. So now we're doing the van. I do have the Harbor Freight jack, also known as the Widowmaker, holding up the tire just because I didn't want to put the rim on the sidewall and possibly damage the tire. So it's still flat, but I mean, you kind of see what's going on. We're set for 50 psi. So let me get the cameras set up, and we'll see how long it takes to fill up a tire. So we just got her done pumping, and let's check the temperatures. And 95. Checking in the vents. Figure that'd be the hottest place there. Yeah, it seems like the hottest it gets is 94, 95 degrees Fahrenheit. So not too bad. Doesn't feel overwhelmingly hot. Just a little warm to the touch. And according to the gauge, about a half a battery. That'll probably recover after everything cools down. And those battery gauges aren't necessarily too accurate, so keep that in mind. So there we go. The Milwaukee M12 Inflator seems to work pretty good. That was, I would consider that like a light truck tire, 50 psi. So anything car-wise, I mean, you're not going to see that big of a tire with that much psi in it. Not that I know of, at least. So yeah, I think it gives a good representation of what you're looking at. 8 3/4 minutes, I think, is what I remember seeing on the old stopwatch there. So it's not bad. It's getting close to the 10-minute range. I think if you got like a bigger, fatter truck tire with a little bit more psi, you might have to pause in between filling it to let the thing cool down. Because like I said, 10 minutes on a 10 minutes duty cycle, 10 minutes on, 10 minutes off, so it'll cool down. I mean, if you go a little bit over, I'm sure it's not going to hurt it, but I wouldn't run it for 20 minutes straight filling up some big fatty tire. I did check with my gauge the psi on that tire. I couldn't get it to show up on camera, so I'll take my word for it, but we had 49 psi on my little filler gauge. Actually, this thing right here. Excuse me. And I checked in the van display, and the van said it was 49 psi. So, I mean, 1 psi, 50 psi, that's close enough in my book. Seems fairly reasonable. I also noticed I got to fill up 2 of my other tires. It's getting cold out, so I guess the air's compressing a little bit and lowering the psi. But yeah, and I mean, some of you might be thinking, why do you need that little goofy thing if you got a full-size compressor? Well, I mean, I like to buy toys too, and the compressor is just like on the weekends. If I got to fill up the kids' tires, or if I got to, top off one of my personal vehicles, I just don't like to have to get that dirty hose and move the van to get it. Whereas to this thing, I just pop a battery in it and screw it on and hit the button and walk away, and then it's good to go. I also have a couple customers, I think about 8 golf carts between them, and yeah, They tend to get flats now and then, and they're big buildings, and normally what I would have to do is get my jack and get my impact, walk into the building, jack it up, pull the tire off, go back out to my van, fix the tire, and go all the way back in. Whereas to this, I could just carry this in my hand, top the tire off, drive the thing out to my van, fix the tire, then drive it back in, save me a little bit of wear and tear on the boots. As of October 9th, I'm recording this. I'm not sure when I'll actually release this video, but the sale is still going on at Home Depot. It's a sweetheart deal for just the batteries alone, 120 bucks. Batteries and a charger. That's a pretty sweet deal. These sales are they're meant to get you into the battery line so you continue buying the tools. You know, the ratchets and the blowers and the light, which I'm currently using to light up my stupid face. And yeah, that's what these sales are for. I mean, just because it's a neat little promotion to trick you into buying their stuff don't mean you can't take advantage of it, as far as I'm concerned. So when these aren't on sale with that deal, these are about 120 at Home Depot with no batteries, and I checked on Amazon and it was like 85 for that inflator. So I'll link the Amazon link in the description in case you're not interested into the batteries and the charger and you just want the inflator. And yeah, I'll put that in there because I think it's like I said, 85, 86 bucks maybe on Amazon. So it's a lot cheaper than Home Depot. So yeah, I'm happy with it. Like I said, I'll get some use out of it. Not too much use. It's not going to be a daily driver. It's not intended to be. I have used some of these battery-powered inflators before. One was from a jumper pack. That thing sucked. I mean, it just about killed the battery. Selling this thing, I think it was like a half a battery by the time it was done. And yeah, now that everything cooled down, it creeped back up to 3/4 of a battery. So that's pretty good. And yeah, I've used some of the cheaper ones, the cigarette lighter ones, and like I said, that the jumper pack style ones, and they just sucked. They didn't work very good, or they took forever. And that seems to work pretty good. And it's got a decent brand name behind it, so I'm sure it'll be all right. If it does break, you'll see a video on that of me tearing it down. So stay tuned for that, maybe. I don't know. But yeah, so I think I touched on everything. Another thing too, I forgot to mention this thing also. You know, go to a road trip with the family, and I'll throw this in the back of the truck with the old plug kit, and that way there, if I get a flat, you know, in the middle of the highway, this fill it up just to get me place safer to change the tire, or I could just plug the tire and continue on my way, which plugging the tire is a lot easier than actually replacing a tire or putting a spare on. So especially at night with cars whipping past you at 70-80 miles an hour. So yeah, I think that's about it. Any questions, as usual, drop them in the comments. I hope you enjoyed the video. This should be a pretty quick one, and yeah, thanks for watching. On that list that I could use. So drop my mic. Let's try that. There we go. For that, and we'll have to pause for that jet to pass over my fucking head.